As we're walking through this cemetery and memorial, I just stopped and imagined that every one of these stones we can see around us is a person. A man, a boy, all standing here in this field. And that there are soldiers that would actually turn their guns and just kill these people. During our time in Sarajevo, we visited most of the museums and memorials that tell the heartbreaking stories of the Bosnian War and the long siege the city endured. But as powerful as those experiences were, we felt our journey through Bosnia wouldn't be complete without coming to Srebrenica, the scene of the worst genocide in Europe since World War II. This video is not so much about what happened during the Bosnian War, but about our experiences visiting these memorials, museums and sites. Now, just for context, the Bosnian War broke out in the 1990s after the breakup of Yugoslavia. When Bosnia declared its independence, ethnic tensions erupted into years of war, siege and ethnic cleansing. The conflict might have ended when NATO stepped in, but the scars of this war still remain today. There are many visible reminders of the war throughout Sarajevo, from bullet holes in buildings to the Sarajevo roses.
Roses because the mortar shell markings, the explosions leave massive holes and they've been since filled up with red resin.
The roses mark the spot where someone was killed.
And there are 200 of these dotted around the city. It's just quite a symbolic reminder, a bad reminder. Here we go, here's another one of these roses of Sarajevo. Instead of quite distinctive red resin.
Look, the shell's still in it.
No way. So it is, yeah. That's nuts.
I know.
That's crazy.
This is the memorial to children killed during the siege of Sarajevo. Such a waste of children's lives. Look at all these names. It's heartbreaking. And look at these ages. So young. And yet today children play happily in this park just meters away from that monument. Got to wonder how many of them lost family members in that terrible war. This sculpture is of a father calling out to his young son, telling him to come down from the mountains. He'll be safe. Remember this memorial. It's important later in the story. He and his son were both found in a mass grave just outside of Srebrenica. We visited the Sarajevo History Museum, the Siege of Sarajevo Museum, the War Childhood Museum, the 11/7/95 Gallery, but our favourite was the Tunnel of Hope Museum. The Siege of Sarajevo lasted 1,425 days, with the city completely closed off to the rest of the world. The UN controlled the airport and emergency supplies were flown in. Over 300,000 people remained in the city throughout the siege, and eventually they dug a tunnel under the airport runway as their lifeline to the outside world. Here we have another map showing the border of where the siege was. The tunnel went that way.
It went that way. Yeah.
What's really cool is the tunnel was dug without any machines. So
300 people over 4 months and 4 days.
It's just, I'm just kind of trying to fathom how someone thinks, oh, well, you know, the city's under siege, we have to dig a tunnel by hand. But this is where this beautiful old lady lived who looked after all the people that came through the tunnel, providing them with shelter and food and coffee and hospitality like a Bosnian knows how to do. There are videos showing us about the siege and the tunnel, and a section of the tunnel is open for us to walk through. That was pretty heavy. Pretty grim. How far did we walk?
It was only like 100 metres.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was 800, wasn't it?
Was it 800?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, it is too. Yeah, so only an eighth of it. That was dry, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been up to the ankles and shit.
It's the family whose house it was, and they were responsible for rehabilitating the tunnel after the end of the war to open it as a tourist attraction and a memorial.
One of the top three.
Yeah, definitely. It
Yeah,
might just well be my favourite museum.
Yeah, you could have come to this one.
But had all this prepared us for what was to come? After exploring some of Bosnia and Herzegovina's most beautiful towns, we finally made our way to Srebrenica. Srebrenica, in the east of Bosnia, was a UN-declared safe zone. It should have been a place of refuge, but instead it became the site of horror. Over 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were torn from their families and executed, their bodies dumped in mass graves. Mothers, wives and children were left behind, their lives shattered forever. Today, Srebrenica stands as the darkest chapter of the Bosnian War, a genocide, and the worst atrocity in Europe since World War II. It's kind of eerie driving through here, knowing what went on here just 30 years ago, this whole area, seeing all the ruined buildings. It's kind of a weird
vibe.
Yeah, a bit of a weird vibe, bit of feel in the air. Yeah, it's kind of a hard place to visit. It's kind of weird because there's no campsite here in Srebrenica.
We haven't seen any campsites either.
No.
Not one.
We thought we'd found a good place to park up by this abandoned half-built hotel, but a local told us no. So this is the local fellow that told us, don't stay there, it's not safe. Bad people come in the night, he said. So that was enough for us. We'll move along. So after 3 times trying to find somewhere to park, this is where we ended up last night. We're in a car park opposite all these apartment buildings right by the main road that goes through Srebrenica. And now we're about to make our way down to the Srebrenica Memorial. The memorial is located in Potocari, just a short drive from Srebrenica. Friends, we have come today to the Srebrenica Memorial. Obviously a very sombre place. Now Nigel and I have visited concentration camps in Germany, the killing fields in Cambodia, and always when you come to a place like this, it's not to glorify it or anything other than to just acknowledge what happened and to pay our respects to the victims of these horrible occurrences. So obviously we're going to be as discreet as we can, as this is actually a memorial and a cemetery, and there will be people in there visiting the graves of their loved ones.
Yeah, we've come to pay our respects. Yeah, it's fitting that it's, well, the sun's come out now, but it was a bit of a grey start to the day.
Yeah, but the air hangs heavy here. You can just feel it's heavy.
It does, it's kind of flat, isn't it? It was flat last night when we got here, and yeah.
Yeah. Now, because it is a Muslim cemetery, we are asked to be respectful in our dress. So, hence my head covering and long sleeves, long pants.
8,372. All in the same year as me.
It's just awful. As far as the eye can see, there are these tombstones, each one of them representing a life that was cut short.
Yet another kid, barely 16 years of age. It's hard not to feel incredibly moved in this place.
It's just so hard to fathom.
You know, all these were just innocent men.
I was 29 years old when this happened, having the time of my life here in Europe, travelling around. And yet here, just across the water, were so many men, boys, people our age, losing their lives.
I don't think I've been moved to this degree since visiting the concentration camps of Austria and Germany. There's been some tears shed. It's an incredibly moving place. It really is. Hard to believe that it happened 30 years ago only.
And it's absolutely mind-boggling when, you know, standing here and as far as the eye can see are just these stones, each one of them representing
A person, a soul.
a civilian. They weren't even soldiers.
Innocent people. It's very emotional. Yeah, there's been a few tears.
Not an easy place to visit. Leaving the memorial, we're heading over to their museum, which I believe is housed in the factory where the UN forces were stationed.
Just following suit here. It's not clear where this museum is. Aha. So is this the museum?
This is where they house all the unidentified remains
Ah.
and the personal belongings. And that was a little grim. The whole place is grim. So this is the factory, which a lot of it has just been kind of left. But it says there's a memorial room here. I'm not sure if we can go in though. Turns out there was nothing in this room except the toilets. We eventually found the correct building for the museum.
Very eerie, isn't it?
Very. There's a lot of graffiti here in Dutch.
I guess what we have to imagine here is some 6,000 refugees were housed in these old factories.
Such a small little exhibit in this big open place, but in some ways that's like really fitting. The display is small but thought-provoking. There are a lot of videos and I was very surprised to see this one, remembering the sculpture I'd seen in Sarajevo. A lot of survivors have donated personal items from their lost loved ones, and there is a room with recorded video testimonials. Out of over 200 testimonials on here, this is the random one I clicked on, simply because her name starts with S, like mine. This is Saliha Osmanovic, who's the wife of Ramo, the man calling down to his son Nerman. What are the chances I would click on that video? The story of Saliha Osmanovic and her family, husband Ramo and her sons Nerman and Eden, will probably stay with me forever. Myself, I'm the mother of 2 boys, and I can't imagine the pain that she went through at the time. Her son Eden was killed by a grenade on July the 5th, which is 6 days before the fall of Srebrenica, and then she lost her husband and her other son on the 12th. I just cannot imagine the pain that she has lived with every day since then. What a brave woman. She went to The Hague to testify against Ratko Mladic, who was the Bosnian Serb military leader. She now lives by herself in the house where she lived with her family. My heart just breaks for that woman. And she is just one of thousands and thousands of women and people who were affected by this awful, awful genocide.
I think we're both pretty emotionally drained now after all that.
Well, we're back at the van. That was rough. It's going to be a while before we can really put into words. It's been a heavy day today with the visit to Srebrenica. We spent like 3 hours there, Nigel.
Yeah, kind of got emotionally exhausted with it. It was hard to kind of rip yourself away at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of got to a point, you know, when I stumbled across that last video, and that affected me so greatly, being that she was a mother of 2 sons, and I was kind of done then. I had to walk out. There was still quite a bit of the museum to go, so yeah.
Yeah, I heard you, and then, yeah.
I mean, I still really can't speak about it. I don't know if I'll ever really be able to speak about it. And I think the reason that Srebrenica has impacted me as much as it has was perhaps because we were adults when all that happened.
We were alive. We weren't alive during the Second World War.
No.
And that's the other thing. It was a Second World War, not a civil dispute. But yeah, we was, having a great old time across the Adriatic, essentially, living our lives while this was going on. And I don't know if guilt's the right word, but I guess there's an element of that. Guilty that we were having a great old time, perhaps, but what could you do? We didn't know that there was a genocide going on. We bloody given glimpses of the fighting, but no idea that these atrocities were occurring. But
and there wasn't the internet then either, so it's very different.
Yeah, the information wasn't leaking out until after the fact.
As we leave Bosnia and cross into Serbia, we can't help but feel a little apprehensive. After all, it was Serb forces who carried out the genocide in Srebrenica. But travel is also about understanding, about seeing places as they are today. So join us next week to see what awaits us in Serbia.